Welcome to another Smile Create Repeat video. In this episode we're going to show you a demo using some of the back to basics supplies from our September surprise, including the Tombow Mono pencil, the Pentel 500 Graphic Gear 500, and then a Bic ballpoint pen. Let's see what we can do. Alright, I'm going to start off. Each tool has a different benefit. All pencils are more or less the same tool really, but each one feels a little different and maybe can be used a little differently. So right now I'm using this pencil more in a loose sense, and I'll show you what the mechanical pencil does, because the benefit of the mechanical pencil is of course having the fine point really all the time. So here I'm using the side of it to get a broad, soft line, and I'm holding it way at the top of the pencil because I want little movements of my hand to transfer as big movements with the pencil. So now I'm just drawing the basic shapes. You start with the general spots, so the big shape. You don't start off with a little detail of the dots on the pear or whatever. You start with what's the basic shape. Then I can adjust it, because when I started it was very centered, but the pear is really kind of wobbly over to the right, and I'm exaggerating it a little bit to try to make it a little more interesting. And I do have this set up in my studio with a light straight above it. So there we go. So now I'm going to draw, there's a shadow line. This is actually where the reflected light, where the light reflects back from the white surface that the pear is sitting on onto the pear. So here this will be reflected light. This is still shadow here, and all of that is darker, but I'll get back to that. And then there's the shadow line where the light above it meets the shadow, and there's light over here, but the pear is a little bit orange brown, so it looks darker there, so I'm including that in that shadow line. Okay, now I'm just loosely going in there. Again quickly. And then the shadow. The reflected light is of course lighter than the highlight in this case, because it loses the intensity. It's super intense coming down, loses some intensity as it reflects back. And I'm trying not to use the point, trying to use the side, just so it stays soft. And then the stem is in shadow there. And so now though I do want to refine the line, the edge of the pear. So I'm going to go in. Now let's put that there for you. And with my eraser, let's refine that line. What does it look like here? And that's one way to get a nice sharp edge, sharp line. You go in and erase, remove what you don't want. See, I can clean this up. I can refine it, bring it down that way, clean that up there, and sharpen it up. I try not to brush my paper with my hand. And now you can go in and really look at, I'm still far away from the point with my hand, but I'm bringing it up a little bit because I want a little darker lead, a little darker mark. And I'm pushing a little harder. And this line here, from the shadow to the light, is softer than that. So I'm going to go in, add some value, and now I'm lighter pressure. And there's a highlight right about here, which I'm not worried about because I'm going to go in and add that with the eraser. There's a little mark right there. Probably, nope. So the light is of course hitting the top of the pear, but it's over this ridge, so I don't see it. And then the stem is in shadow right there because it's curving and the light's not hitting that part directly. And I'm just refining that, darkening it a little bit just because I want to. And then this actually bows out, which it doesn't matter to you. And that comes down lower and then over. So the darkest part, I'm gonna put that in because it really needs to be in there. That was the dehumidifier. Sorry about that. So the darkest part is this, the cast shadow, which is where the shadow from the object is on the whatever it's sitting on. The shadow is cast by the object. So that's the darkest. So I'm pushing pretty hard now. And this edge, the shadow edge, is soft because the fruit is round, which would create a soft edge, and the distance from the light to the object creates the softness also. If this was right here, then the shadow would be much sharper, but because it's far away, and I can't really see where this shadow starts and stops and the fruit starts and the pear starts and stops, so I'm just going to make it a soft edge there. And now I'm just going over to soften up my pencil lines. And add more dark in here. And then let's soften that transition. And when you're doing these drawings, be sure to keep an overall vision of the value, okay? So you don't want to just have dark here, dark there. You want to keep the whole, it's really simplified. If it's a ball, there's dark on the bottom, light on top in this case. So make sure you try to keep that in mind. And the whole pear has to be dark if we're going to add a highlight to it. Okay, and now there's, if you squint, much more dark. So yeah, just keep adding it in. And we have, now I'm using the point a little more because we have a little sticker there. I'm not drawing all the details of the sticker because there is some white, but even in the shadow, it's dark, and that doesn't. Alright, now I'm going to go in and add the highlight. I don't know if it's going to show up in the video. And then I'm also going to pull a little bit of light. See, now I'm using the eraser very softly because I just want to pull up some of the graphite down there because I kind of want to exaggerate the reflected light. And then I'm going to clean up this little edge, this little marks that I made. There you go. That's the first part with the Tombow mono pencil. Alright, now we have a pencil I'm very excited about. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Well, it is pretty awesome. I've already used it. But it's the Pentel Graph Gear 500, and it's 0.5 millimeter lead. But the cool thing about this one is we have blue lead in it. So in order to use this pencil, you just push the tip with your thumb. Oops, and I just broke it off. So be careful not to break it off. I usually do 3 or 4 clicks, and then I just start going. So now I'm going to, and I'm starting again. Lightly trying to draw the big shapes, the big general shapes, because you want to start with those and then work up to the details. Work down to the details, work to the details. So start general. Like if you're doing a landscape, you start with the sky, you don't start painting a blade of grass. So you spend all that time with the blade of grass, and then you realize you're doing a seascape and there's really no grass there. So that's there. That's there. See, and then right there. So if I started drawing, this is I cut the pear in half. There's a seed here. So if I started drawing that seed and the bottom of the pear cut right in half, my first thought was over here, but that piece is way over halfway up, so it's much closer to up there. So I would have spent all that time doing a fine drawing of that and then realizing, oh no, that's in the wrong spot. So now that I'm doing it this way, you work on the big shapes first, then you can work on all the placement, make sure you got everything where you want it, and then you can start adding more details. So now I've got the shapes down. Oh, let me throw the stem in there, and that needs to be lower too. In this one I'm just doing a sketch, but I'm using the point. Even though I'm using it way out here, the way I'm holding it, I'm using the point because I want the fine details and the fine control. But no matter what, you still have it, and the point. And even though I'm wearing out one side of it, so there's a little fatter, flatter part of it, but most of it's still fine compared to the regular wooden pencil. So again, that is, now with this edge here, that is a very sharp edge because that's a flat plane, and then this panel, I mean this plane of the pear goes down, and I'm utilizing the pencil to try to create some texture by following the path or the curve of the pear, because it's curving up into this. There's like a little crevice there, and then again we have the shadow there softening into the reflected light, because there's a lot right there. And here, like we talked about that shadow being soft, this one is too, but I'm not worried about that right now because that's not my focus in this drawing. But it's still something to keep in mind. So let's just make this shadow a little darker down here. Good. This is nice colored paper, colored pencil paper. So it really takes this well, and it's a heavyweight paper, so it's nice for the regular drawing pencils, graphite pencils, and then for the pen I'm going to be using next. And this is a dark brown, and it's full of light, but it's still very dark in relation to everything else. So, and this shadow here. Okay, and then this. And that I'll erase a little bit, and then this is, there's some slight discoloring, probably part of the stem or whatever. But now I want to make this a little sharper so it looks like it's a seed, not just some of that discoloration. Okay, let's see how this erases, just to clean up some of those lines. I don't mind if they're there, but this one I do. That part I don't like having there, because that was, well, I didn't want it there. So, got rid of it there. Alright. So there's the pen. That is really nice. I'm glad I found that. I'm glad we got it for you guys, because that one is really fun. I'm looking forward to using that a lot more. Alright, now we're using the Bic drawing pen, ballpoint pen, and I like these. I've been using these for 20 years or so, and I like them just because you can just use them. You can push hard with them, or you can get light lines too. Oh, look at that, the stem. The stem would be going right in that sticker, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want that to happen. And then again, there's the shadow. So I'm hoping I'm not ruining this drawing for myself, but I think it'll look kind of neat. So that's the pear. There's the same seed that I had in there. This is another slice of the pear. And this whole thing, that's black. This whole edge of the pear is actually in shadow. But I'm going to selectively shade it because I think I'm going to keep some of the blue colored pencil pear not covered with this pen. And this is fun because this tool, you just use it, you know? And you can really get some neat, because it can get super black, super dark, a lot easier, a lot quicker than if you're using a harder pencil, or a hard lead pencil, graphite pencil of course. And you can have some nice fine lines and things like that. And that's actually it for that one. Now let's add some. Yeah, let's try to. There is because the pear is sliced so thin, the top edge isn't catching light because it's a sharp edge, but it does have some light shining through it, so it's almost like it's transparent, translucent, so that gives a little light edge on top. So I'm pushing pretty light on here with the pen, just getting a value in there, but it's a light value. Yep. So I think that's good, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I do with these, and hopefully you learned something from them. Those are some great tools. I'm super excited about them, and they're fantastic. And I hope you enjoyed them, and please show us what you've done. Thank you.